All right, what does the horns of the basin symbolize? It symbolizes the horns. What does it mean? Stubborn sacrifice. What does the horn means? What is the function of the horns of the basin? Talk to me. Stubborn sacrifice. You don't know? To fasten the animal, right? Yes, that is the purpose. The animal was supposed to be fastened around this, around it. And then what does it symbolize? Power, right? Yes, power, authority, power. Okay, good. So I think let's see if we can see it from the top. This 3D, the way this thing is jumping more than. Okay, we move to the next one, which is the basin for washing, right? The basin for washing. Let me see which number is that. It's not number 2. I think that is supposed to be number 8. Okay, let me just zoom it and we look at it. What is the basin for? What is it for?
Ceremonial washing.
Ceremonial washing. Yes. That is how the priest wash himself, or there is no herself here. Before getting into the Holy of Holies. Then we have these curtains for, this is how the tabernacle was roofed. Can you see it? This is how it was roofed. And I think you can see it from both sides. Let me turn the other side, you see? And we have the outside made up of wood overlaid with gold, right? Can you see the inside, how it was roofed? It was roofed like this from the front, but look at the behind. Let me zoom in. Can you see how the behind was roofed? It was covered, completely covered, right? Because nobody was supposed to see inside this. Is that right? And then look at around the tabernacle here. It's fully closed. This is behind, looking at it from behind, it's fully closed. This is one side of it. Let me show you the other side. No, don't enter here. Okay, this is another side of it. Oh, why is this thing zooming more than it should? And then this is the front, right? All right, let's enter. So this is the first curtain, all right? The first curtain into the holy place. So from here, we enter into the holy place. Let's see what is inside. Hey, we are in. So here is inside it. Towards, from the entrance, towards your right, we have the table of showbread, right? Yeah. How many breads were supposed to be on it? How many breads were supposed to be on the table? 14. How many? 12. For how many days? Bible scholars are here. I like that. For 7 days. Wonderful. And it's supposed to be taken with water, right? What else do we have on the table? What else do we have on the table? Nothing. Really? Who is going to serve a dry bread with nothing to drink? We won't come. Yeah, there is wine on it, right? Then after 7 days, who qualify to eat the bread? Who qualify? The congregation of Israel, right? The priests, yes. The priests, all the priests, right? They qualify to eat it. By 7 days' time, the bread will be getting spoiled. That's why it's replaced. True or false? After the bread is kept on the table for 7 days, it will be getting, it starts getting spoiled, right? That's why it needs to be replaced. True or false? False. Okay, it will still be fresh, right? Because it was kept in the refrigerator, right? Because it was wilderness and the weather was cold, so it was still fresh. True or false? Yes, it was preserved by God's presence. Hey, somebody got a question. It says it is alcoholic drinks or fruit juice. It is wine, strong wine. All right, it is wine. Wine from vine, very alcoholic, highly alcoholic. And it is the same wine Jesus gave to his disciples for the communion, highly alcoholic. So please, Christians, stop this thing of using juice for communion just because you don't want to take alcohol. Forget about that. All right. Yes, the one Noah drank is the same thing. Israel is rich with vine. All right. So rich with vine. So they used to produce a lot of wine from it. Do you know wine? That grape. Is it a grapefruit? Let me see if I can get you. Okay, remind me after we finish. Let me show you the type of wine they use. Let me show you the fruit. All right. All right. Then towards our front, we are still inside the tabernacle, right? Then we have another altar here. Yes, this altar looks closer and better. Can you see it? Hey, there's a dramatic shovel here. All right. I don't know about that. Maybe. So this is another altar, just like the one outside, right? Same design, just that this one is smaller. What is the purpose of this? For making kebab inside. True or false? Barbecue inside, right?
Burning incense.
So the priest can make some kebab for the day. Yes, it's for burning incense, right? Yeah, it has the same design with the horns and everything. What would be the purpose of this little shovel here? Or a spade? What is the purpose? What could be the purpose? Who has an idea? To remove the ashes for the incense, yes. God, the purpose of the class is fulfilled. Your people are so good. Tonight, I will talk to God about you guys. Yeah, I'll tell him, hey, your people are good. So that is right at the entrance, right in front of the second entrance, right? In front of the second entrance. Let's turn this side a little bit and see what is there. Yeah, from here, what else do you see? We see the lampstand. Let me see if I can zoom it a little bit and we see it properly. When I was alone, this thing was zooming very well. Now you guys are hearing it's zooming dramatically. Okay, at least you have an idea, right? It's here. What is so unique about the lampstand? What is unique about it? Let me see if I wanted to turn it the other way so you can see it. What is unique about it? What is the purpose first? What is the purpose of the lampstand? What is the purpose? Purpose. To do what? To decorate the place. Yes, what is unique was it ought to be chiseled from one piece of gold, right? To provide light, keep light in a place, light to bring light. Yes, 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 yes. Wonderful. And what was unique was what? The whole thing was supposed to be chiseled from one piece of gold. Very difficult task. Highly difficult task. But yeah, God gave wisdom to some people to do it. And they did it. All right, let's look at the next one. Then we have the second entrance, right? Can you see the curtain there? Hey, it's too. Hey, let's see it. Can you see the curtain there? It's nicely hung around 4 posts, right? Yeah, I told you there is supposed to be some angels engrafted into it, into the curtain. So I think this one got it a little right. Still dramatic, but it's okay. It's manageable. So let's enter from there. Let's see what happens. Hey, we could not enter. Israel's sin has affected us, and we couldn't enter the tabernacle. But no, we are going to enter. Which number is that? Number 1. Yes. Wait a minute. Let me enter from here and let's see. Or do we enter from behind? Hey, here we are. We are inside. What is inside? What do you see inside? All right, Pastor Eunice, have a question. Ask your question. Type it down there. Yeah, someone's away from the birds in the curtain. It's not supposed to be bird. It's supposed to be angel. So I think that is just a simple way to. This place is not too big. So as you try to turn it, turns dramatically. What is inside? What is supposed to be inside the Holy of Holies? We just have to keep it like this. What is supposed to be inside? No, you don't ask any question after class. The question ought to be in the class. The Ark of the Covenant, right? The Ark of the Covenant. What was inside the Ark of the Covenant? What was inside? The law. Yes, the law. Which law? Which one? The law, the table that God gave Moses, right? The table that God gave Moses. All right, let me clarify something about that table. God gave the first table to Moses. Exodus 32, he broke it. All right. The first table he gave him, the table was created by God himself, and he wrote on it himself. And Moses broke that one. So God asked Moses now to make the table himself. So the second table was taken up to the mountain by Moses. That one was made by Moses. And God wrote on it. Do you get a difference? The first plate was made by God himself. The second one was made by Moses. But God wrote on both of them. All right? It's very important. Okay, so the second one that was made, and some of the scrolls, some of the things Moses wrote down, they were all kept in the Ark of the Covenant, right? They were all kept in the Ark of the Covenant. And then, what is unique about the Ark of the Covenant? It has what? Let me gently zoom this. It has what? No, it was a stone. Those something like marble, right? Something like marble. And God wrote on it for him. All right, the Ark of the Covenant had two angels, two cherubims, right? With their wings facing each other. And then what are they covering? They are covering the mercy seat, right? Yesterday, I told you the mercy seat is not a throne. Personally, I used to think like that too. And then I can't write on this. But you see, can you see where the mercy seat is? Below the two wings like this on the cover, that was where the presence of God was, right? It is amazing. Upon all this big place, that's where he chose to be. That small place. All right, he is God. And the whole universe belongs to him. Wherever he like is where he will choose to be, right? Yes, the Ark of the Covenant was made of wood and overlaid with gold, right? Yeah, don't forget some of those details. Okay, I hope this 3D also help, right? It helped you. So you can see some of this. Any question? Any question? Any questions so far before I get into today's class?
Pastor, my question is for, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Pastor, my question was, it's a little bit of an interlude. It was for yesterday. David, when we said David went into the temple and then he took the table of showbread. He took bread from the table of showbread and he ate. So after reading it, I realized that David actually asked for permission from the priest, and the priest was the one that told him to take the bread. So that's what I wanted to clarify.
All right. That makes no difference. The priest, the priest will just help you to die earlier than your time. The law states that nobody will eat that bread except the priest. So someone said the fruit. Okay, let me see. Let me get you a fruit here. Vine for wine. Yes, this one. I think I need to copy it to the PPT. Yes. You don't have vine in your countries? Oh, it doesn't do well in most parts. Yeah, this one. Can you see it? This type of wine. Let me. Okay, let me paste it in the last PPT here. Can you see it? Let me. Can you see the? Okay, let me project only this one. Can you see it? Do you know it? Yeah, real wine. This is what we call wine. And this is where we get the color wine from. It's from this fruit. Since it's called wine, that's why we call that color. Similar to this or same as this, as wine. right? Yeah, it's a grip. It's very common in, not also very common in Ghana. Only some parts. The region I am now, I've never seen it. I've never seen it, but it's common at some other places. Yes, it's very common in Israel, very common. Okay, very common in your province, right? SA and Italy. Okay, those who like wine, they are giving us their sources. Interesting. Okay, let's start today's class, and we will end up with this wine. All right, so we will start from the book of Numbers, right? The book of Numbers. This is the book design. You know, the book pick up from the story of the children of Israel when they journeyed from Egypt and they settled at Mount Sinai. Then from there, God made a covenant with them. And not too far from there, they broke the covenant. All right. Who needs some wine now? You can get, it's very common in the shops. All right. They quickly broke the covenant. And that was going to make it difficult for God to continue to deal with them. So we saw the book of Leviticus designed to solve that problem. What was the purpose of the book of Leviticus? Somebody should tell me. What was the purpose of the book? Or what is the book all about? Talk to me now. Today, you were not expecting all these questions. I was away from all these questions. We are here to learn, not to answer questions. God providing a way to deal with a sinful man is true. All right. How God is going to manage a sinful man in his presence, and they wouldn't be consumed, right? They wouldn't be consumed. So we saw from the first book of Leviticus that Moses couldn't enter, so God had to speak to him from the tabernacle. Now we are in the book of Numbers, right? If you read Numbers chapter 1, verse 1, now we are told that God spoke with Moses in the tabernacle. Well, I didn't quote it. I didn't quote it here. So you can look at it for yourself. From Leviticus, it opened by God spoke to him from the tabernacle. But in Numbers, you see God spoke to him in the tabernacle. That means Leviticus principle really worked. It worked. The design worked. So we look at the book of Numbers. There is the book design from chapter 1 to 10a happened around Mount Sinai, right? And then from chapter 10b to 12, you see their travel. Then chapter 13 to 19, we see this story happen in the wilderness of Paran. When you enter into chapter 20 and 21, you also see that on a journey. That also happened in a journey. And then chapter 22 to 36, what happened is that also happened on the plains of Moab. And the last part conclude towards the promised land, right? By chapter 36, they are very close to the promised land. They were very close. They were right opposite the promised land. So from here, they just had to cross River Jordan, and then they enter into the promised land. Is the design okay? So let's see what happened. Chapter 1 to 4, a census was taken. The people were numbered. That is where the book got its name from, Numbers, right? The people were numbered. So they were counted according to their to their tribes, the 12 tribes, according to their families. Oh, it's super boring to read. Yeah, it's not nice, but you get to read it anyways. So they were counted. And then at this time, they were also shown how to arrange themselves around the tabernacle. You'll find that in chapter number 1 to 4. So the arrangement is supposed to be like this. The tabernacle was supposed to be in the middle, and the priest will be the first to settle around it. Why? Why must the priest be the first to settle around the tabernacle? Talk to me now. Open your mic and talk.
I think it makes it easier for him to go about his duties as a priest, because if you
Yes.
live close to right, then
Excellent. Here is not only the priest, that is for the high priest. It's all the priests, all right? The plural form, all the priests. We had many priests and one priest, which is the high priest, right? The high priest was not regular on duty like the priests. The priests were the ones always on duty. So they were supposed to be the first to settle, because even in the night, somebody could come. I have sinned, and I'm here to atone for my sin, right? So they needed to be close. Can we have that muted? Good. So they needed to be close to the tabernacle to make it easier to carry out their duties, right? And then from there, all those from the Levite family must be the next, and the rest of the tribe neatly arranged around it. You will see this in this picture, right? Let me get my pointer and point out some details here. Okay, so as you can see, we have the tabernacle here in the middle, right? And the priests were supposed to settle around it. Can you see Moses and Aaron there? Hey, they are there. So they should be very close to make their work easier. And you can see the number of people, right? And then from there, we have the other tribes supposed to settle in this arrangement neatly. You don't scatter yourselves. You have to arrange yourselves well. So this family, those who are going to be towards the west, this is the map, right? This is the north. So towards the west has to be Benjamin, Manasseh, and Ephraim. They gotta be here. And Judah and the rest, and they, have to be at the east. Then we will have Gad and Simeon and Reuben towards the south. And then we will have the rest at the north, right? Neatly arranged. Neatly arranged. All right. Neatly arranged. You don't scatter yourself. Nobody's supposed to be here. Doing what? You have to arrange neatly. Okay, let's see. So this is a nice way to also look at it. God's presence will be in the middle. I think now you understand the tabernacle well now, right? So you have, where is the gate supposed to be? Which side? North side or the southern side? Which side is the gate supposed to be? At the east, yes. Pastor, is the positioning of these tribes signifying anything? Yes, it does. But I will talk about only Judah. Judah was supposed to be at the head. Why? If you study in the book of Revelation, we are told of a creature which has one head with 4 faces, right? One head with 4 faces. So one head with 4 faces. And if you study it, the one at the east is a lion, the face of a lion, right? That is Judah. Judah is supposed to be, well, it only spoke about Judah, that Judah will be at the head. Maybe I'll get a picture to show you that later. Let's move on. Okay, so this is another way. And can you see the presence of the cloud of God's presence is here? And that will give light in the camp, right? Some sort of light in the camp. It's not the only source of light. They were supposed to use their light. And, you know, can you imagine? God is here. They can see God's presence. While they are looking at his presence, they will face it and sin. Do they care? They don't care. They will face it. Just imagine this guy. Those here, Ephraim, Benjamin, and the rest, they are towards the very presence. You know, God's presence is at the back here, right? So very close to it. And they will do all the nonsense. They don't care. So this is also another way to look at it. You see, neatly arrange themselves around it. Isn't it nice? It's so nice, so beautiful. So what is the meaning of that? It's just God telling them that he is the center of their existence. So God is going to be in the middle as the center of their existence. Okay, then we get to chapter 5. Chapter 5, we got a lot of laws about ritual purity. All right, I told you, those of you who only believe the 10 commandments, from the book of Exodus, we were given purity laws. And if you read chapter 5 to 10 of the book of Numbers, God gave more purity laws. And what are those laws about? He's telling them that if God is going to be in their midst, they must do anything possible to keep the camp pure. All right, God is here. God is here. So if God is going to be in their presence, they must do anything possible to keep the camp pure. So you'll get most of the purity laws from here. 5 chapters, right? 5 chapters, developing it. And all this developed from the book of Leviticus, right? The book of Leviticus, when he gave all those purity laws, he developed more of those laws from here as well. And then we get to chapter number 11, and the cloud of God's presence moved. I don't have any dramatic picture to show you. No dramatic picture. All right. The cloud of God's presence moved for the first time. Now, God gave this instruction that they are going to settle around Mount Sinai as far as his presence can be seen. The cloud of God's presence can be seen on top of the tabernacle, right? As far as the cloud is there, they were supposed to settle. By the moment they see the cloud move, Israel ought to move as well. So a time came when God called Moses and he told him to prepare the people for movement. They are going to move in a while. So they will have to prepare their things. They get to bring down their tabernacles, pack their things, tie them, and get ready for movement. So chapter 11, we saw the cloud of God's presence move after 1 year. This is after 1 year at Mount Sinai, right? They've been at Sinai for 1 year. And God's presence moved. So when the cloud moved, what were they supposed to do? They got to follow, right? I gave you a note here. Not like the cloud moved and everybody's now, hey, the cloud is moving. Where's my clothes? No. They were giving notice ahead of time to prepare. Now, are they going to leave the tabernacle behind? No. The whole tabernacle ought to be dismantled. God's presence has to be brought down. Can you imagine? They have to dismantle the tabernacle, remove everything, and then pack it. Dismantling it, everybody is not involved. The priests were the only people supposed to do this. But carrying it was shared among the families of the tribes. All right? It was supposed to be carried. Various things were assigned to various families. So certain families were supposed to carry the Ark of the Covenant. Certain families were supposed to carry the curtain. Certain families were supposed to carry the bronze basin, the one for water. And certain families were supposed to carry the poles. Certain families were supposed to carry a whole lot. But it was assigned to every family. A question came to my mind. Maybe somebody might have been wondering. Those who will carry this, who will carry their things? Well, they also share their things with their families. All right. So the families will have to carry extra load for those who will be carrying these things. But the whole thing has to be moved. Right? The difficulty of dealing with God in those days, the difficulty, the presence of God must, all these things must be moved. So for the first time, we saw the presence of the cloud of God's presence moved. It's amazing. I saw a very dramatic picture I wanted to show for this. I don't know why I didn't get it in here. All right. Is that clear? How the movement is? So they moved for the first time. Then on their way, what did we see here? Go back here and see. From chapter 12, right? We saw a movement. They travel, right? Chapter 12, they travel. So between chapter 12 and 13 was a journey. They moved from chapter 10. Chapter 12 was a journey between Mount Sinai and the wilderness of Paran. So on that way, chapter 12, things turned terribly wrong. Israel began the rebellion story. We need to read this chapter. All right, we need to read it because the rest of the Bible is developed on Numbers in particular. So I need to read those chapters to you in detail so you get it. Can somebody get a Bible and read chapter 11 for me? Can somebody read? Or I should, where is my own Bible? It's here.
Numbers 11.
Can you read from a newer version? So, because there are some French speakers here. If you can get NIV, I think that will be fine. Or if you can get the New King James, it's also fine. But NIV is better. NIV is also close to maintaining the original this thing, but King James is still the best.
Numbers 11 from the NIV version. Starting from verse 1. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord. And when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called TORAH, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again, the Israelites started wailing and said, if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt.
Oh boy, wait. NIV is spoiling the thing. Go to King James. Go back to King James. NIV is not telling the right story. Go back to King James.
From verse 1?
No, just take it from the previous verse, from where you ended.
All right. Verse 4. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a
Wait,
lasting.
that is the word.
And the children of Israel also wept again.
Who sparked them? Who sparked the children of Israel?
The mixed multitude.
The mixed multitude, right? Who are the mixed multitude? I wish I'm preaching here to expound this for you, the purpose of this. The mixed multitude. They are not the Jews, right? After Israel moved from Egypt, there were some Egyptians that moved with them. And as they moved along, they passed through various cities and various towns, various villages. And they saw how God's hand is mightily upon them. They are just defeating everybody. And they are just mighty people. Hey, so strong. Above all, they are eating manna, free of charge, free food. They join, they follow them. They don't know who they were. They don't know where they were going. They don't know their purpose. They just joined them. They had no family among them, no friends. They just joined them and they followed. So they formed the mixed multitude. All right. They formed the mixed multitude. Today, do we have the mixed multitude in our churches? Emphatically, yes. All right. They are there. And I'll tell you the job of the mixed multitude in our churches today. They are the ones that always pack the people. If you have a mixed multitude as a friend, you are in trouble. You will never serve God. Because things you have never seen about the pastor, the mixed multitude will make you see it. Things you shouldn't know, the mixed multitude will let you know it. Things that you thought was all right, until the mixed multitude will come, they will make you know that it's not all right. That is their job. There is another version of these people. The Bible called them dogs. So it says, beware of dogs, right? In the Bible, that's another version of the mixed multitude. The New Testament, they are called dogs. Beware of dogs. In the Old Testament, they were the mixed multitude. So these guys, the Bible said they crave for another food. Do you know what they did? One day they woke up and they asked the children of Israel, are you not tired of this manna? When did you guys left Egypt? They said, well, about a year ago. He said, have you noticed you guys haven't eaten any meat, protein till now? Can't you see most of your children are deformed? They are suffering from kwashiorkor now. They lack nutrients. Can't you see you guys are losing weight? And they say, yeah, we can see it. They never saw it. Now they can realize they are losing weight. And they were like, why? They said it's because of this manna. Every day, manna. You are even smelling manna now.
What is it?
And what happened? Read on for us.
From verse 4, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lasting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat?
Okay, when you hear flesh there refers to meat. All right, it's referred to meat.
We remember the fish, which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers and the melons and the leeks and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna before our eyes.
Really?
And the manna was...
No, wait, really? They remember the garlic? Garlic of Egypt? They remember the cucumber of Egypt? The melons and the fishes. People of God, these are figurative language. It's talking about those things you were doing, those things you left behind, the people, the lifestyle, the mentality, the thinking that you left behind, you gave your life to Christ. Craving after them again, after now that you are born again. Israel is out of Egypt, a very miserable place. Now they say we love that place even more than this. You remember the garlic? What is garlic? What will garlic do for you? Now they are comparing the manna with garlic, and they say garlic of Egypt is even better than this. They have nothing. They say we have nothing before us except this miserable. They actually call it miserable manna. Now the Bible is going to describe the manna to you to let you know that it was well balanced. There was protein inside. Read on.
Verse 7. And the manna was a coriander seed, and the color thereof as the color of bdellium. And the people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell upon the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moses had the people weep throughout their families, every man in the door of his tent. And the anger of the Lord was kindled greatly. Moses
Wait a minute. The men were crying. What were they crying for? They want to eat meat. I think the picture on the screen describes it dramatically, right? The man, father will wake up and he's crying. What does he want? He wants meat. He wants to eat meat, flesh. He wants flesh. He wants meat. He wants to eat meat. He wants protein. And God saw this and he was like, what is the meaning of this? God is like, what is the meaning of all this? At this point, God doesn't even know what to say anymore. They want meat? Really? Meat? Well, God didn't say anything to the mixed multitude because it's not their fault. They were not in Egypt. Were they in Egypt? They were not there. Were they suffering with them? They were not suffering. So if you think, oh, it's my friend that deceived me, no, God wouldn't blame him. It's not their fault. They were not there. The same thing when God spoke to you, nobody was there. Nobody was there. So if somebody, for example, when God spoke to me, nobody was there. So nobody becomes the best person to advise me on what I should do. Do you get it? Yeah, when God spoke to you, nobody was there. So how do somebody advise you on what to do? The mixed multitude could not be blamed. They couldn't be blamed. They were in Egypt. They didn't know how terrible the place was. Now they are telling God, garlic of Egypt is better than this manna. And Egypt is what God never wanted them to even mention in their life. But anytime they want to get God mad, then they will tell him that Egypt was better. Look, the book of Numbers is a very heartbreaking book. It's a book of rebellion heaped upon rebellion. They want meat. Well, have you ever seen a baby that starts crying for something very unnecessary before? That's how children are. That's how babies are. They just think of something from nowhere and just start crying for it. They want it. Someone said pregnant women are also like that. Well, I've never been pregnant. I'm not the best to conclude this. Man of God, I think we should just end it there. So the result of this is God performed a miracle. He gave them meat to eat. He caused birds, quails, to come to the camp, right? And the Bible said the birds were standing on each other. You can read it later for yourself. And they catch those birds the whole night. What were they going to use those birds for? How long could they keep those meat? There was no fridge. How much? And the Bible said the moment, immediately the meat they cook, it touched their teeth, God strike all those who were involved. All of them died. You can read it later. I have a lot to read to you. So that is chapter 11 for you. As though this is not enough, one chapter after, this time we see Moses being confronted by his brother Aaron. But why shepherd Moses also complain? What did Moses complain about? About the meat? Hey, remember, the children of Israel that moved with Moses from Egypt, they were 3 million plus. Last time, I just gave you a rough estimation. Where are you going to get meat to feed 3 million people? We are not saying talking about 30 here, not 300, not 3,000, not 30,000,
300,000.
not 300,000, 3 million plus wants to eat meat. Which meat? Is it goat meat or beef? You provide beef, they will tell you they want a chicken. You know them. So now, chapter 12 is this time is not the children of Israel again. This time is leaders. Fight among the leaders, right?
Leaders meeting.
In verse 11 to 13, and he also questioned God how he was going to give meat to these people. Yeah, because Moses also was wondering, how do we get meat to these people? Because he was looking at 3 million people. So he was thinking, God, if you are going to provide meat, how are you going to do it? That was what Moses was thinking. There were too many for even anybody to even think of providing meat for them. Now Moses, who is Miriam? Bible scholars, talk to me now. Mariam or Miriam. Who was she? Can somebody describe her for me? This thing of typing. What are you doing that you won't open your mic and talk?
It was Moses' big sister.
Guys, your mouth to smell. Oh. Your mouth to smell. Open your mouth and talk. It's 2 hours class. All right, yes, she was a prophetess, right? She was a prophetess and a sister to Moses. And who was Aaron? Aaron was the priest, right? He was the high priest, not just a priest. He was the high priest at the moment. And he was also the elder brother of Moses. How old? What was the age difference between Moses and Aaron?
I'm sorry, 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. 3 years difference between them, right? So chapter 12, what happened was they confronted Moses and they said, well, Moses, you are not the only person God is talking to. God does speak to us. They said, Moses, look, me, Miriam, I'm a prophetess. I do prophesy. And my brother here, Aaron, is the priest. He is actually the one who mediates God to the people and the people to God. So Moses, you are not the only person that prophesy. And they went further to complain about Moses marrying an Ethiopian woman. And I wish I didn't quote the verse, right? All right, you can read it for yourself. The Bible said God heard them. When they were doing the drama down there, God was in the camp and he heard them attacking Moses for marrying an Ethiopian woman. And immediately God called for the 3 of them. Look at the next PPT. God said, oh yeah, Moses, Miriam, and Aaron, come, I have a meeting with you. I have a meeting with you. So they went in there excited. And God said, maybe I should get the verse for you. I just saw somebody posted it in there. Chapter 12, verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. As though we didn't hear it. He has to repeat it. Verse 2. And they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
Only.
No. Is it the only person God talked to? Is it Pastor Naya? Is 2 weeks class? Must all the classes be taught by Pastor Naya? No, does he think he's the only person who knows these things? We also know some things. We also know some things. This is a disorder in leadership. When everybody feels like they are also anointed. When everybody feels that they also have something to say. Is it only Moses that is hearing from God? We also do, right? We also do. Yeah. So God called out to them. You can read the story for yourself because of time. Let me narrate and go. God called out to them, and God didn't deny the fact that Moses married a foreigner, an Ethiopian woman. But God's concern was who authorized them to talk about it. People of God, listen to God's judgment very well. He didn't deny the fact. God didn't say he didn't marry an Ethiopian woman. No. God agreed with the fact. But God's concern was who authorized them to confront him about the issue. This is the question you should always ask yourself. Do you have the authority to talk about it? Sometimes I don't like the things that are happening in the church. I'm calling for meeting. Do you have the authority? Did God tell you to call for meeting? So do we keep quiet and see the leaders doing things that are not good? He is God. The church belongs to him. He has a way of handling his own things. If you have a matter, nicely go through your immediate leader. Let me show you how matters are handled in church. If you are in a church or a fellowship or any Christian setup, spiritual setup, and there are things going on in leadership that you don't agree with or you are not okay with, talk to your immediate leader about it. He may explain certain things to you as the reason why things are being done that way, and things may be clear to you. But if still you think it's not good enough, you have to get this across to leadership. Go with your leader to the leaders, or talk to your leader to talk to the leaders about the concern you raise. So your leader goes to leaders meeting or whoever responsible and say, well, these are some of the concerns our people are raising, and we can do something about it, right? That is one way. If the person is a pastor, because if you study the scriptures, you will notice that it takes another man of God to correct a man of God, right? It takes a pastor to correct another pastor. If you are going to correct a pastor, you have to be very careful, because when God spoke to that person, you were not there. We are not saying because of that, we can't correct pastors. No, that's not what I mean. Go through the right channel. Go to somebody you know he listens to, somebody that talks to him or her, and he listens to that person. Go to the person and talk to the person about whatever you feel the pastor is doing that is not right for you, according to you. And the person will help you do it or talk to that person nicely, sometimes without even mentioning your name, right? So things are well handled. This is the same thing that happened to this Miriam and Aaron. It got to a time when they thought, every day Moses is in the tabernacle. Is he the only person hearing from God? Why is he behaving this way? Everybody gets matter and they come to Moses. What about the prophetess? What about the Aaron? Mariam and have even suggested, look, let all the women come to me and let me handle the women's issue, since I also hear from God. And Moses is like, no, sir, it's not like that. And they got upset, right? They got upset and they confronted him. So God said, all right, come here. So God said, who authorized you? Aaron and Miriam. Who authorized you to talk about it? And they couldn't give any answer. The Bible said God departed from them. God left them. And what happened? Miriam was found leprous. Pay attention to something very important here. I think there's a footnote, right? I put a footnote there for you. Nothing happened to Aaron at the moment because he was wearing the priest garment. So he was protected by the priest garment. But Miriam became leprous. And Moses made intercession for her. And God forgave her. But she will have to suffer leprosy for 7 days. And she was cast out of the camp for 7 days. And the people even couldn't move. They needed to wait for her to complete her 7 days of leprosy. And then they moved, right? Then we get to chapter 12 and 14. 12 spies, a member from each tribe, was sent to go and to inspect the land. They went. And when they went there, what did they have in mind? God told them he's taking them to a land that flows with milk and honey. So they thought when they got there, all the stones on the floor will be flowing milk. And the mountains will be raining honey. The trees will be draining, whatever. I don't know what they were thinking. When they came back, 10 gave a different report. They said, look, let's be realistic. When you get to the land is full of stones. You know, Israel is full of stones, right? It's a mountainous area. They said, look, the place is full of stones. Giants everywhere. And the giants are big. We are just small. And the people like, what? Are you sure? But 2 gave a different report. They said, it is true that the giants are there, but we are children of God. God's hand is mightily upon us. We will defeat them. And we will take the land just like God had promised us. And they came back with some fruits from the land. They said, look, the land is really fertile. But the 10 sparked the people and they got worried. And they said, let us go back to Egypt. They have journeyed a year ago. Egypt is still in their hearts. Problem of many Christians. Egypt in the heart. The world still in the heart. After several years of being born again, Egypt still in the heart. Right? So they had Egypt still in the heart. Say, hey, let's go back to Egypt. Egypt is better. And God got upset. This is rebellion number 2, right? Or 3. God got upset. He wanted to destroy them. And Moses made intercession for them again. Only God knows how many times Moses interceded in this book. Moses interceded for them. And then God gave them a punishment. He said, this generation will not enter into the promised land. This generation will not. So what he's going to do is, he's going to let them wander around in the wilderness until all of them will die in the wilderness. And it took 40 years for all of them to die. So what God was doing was, he take them from Mount Sinai, he lead them, then he take them backwards, bring them back to the same place they just left. He take them around here as though they are going to enter the promised land. He bring them back again. That was what God was doing until all of them died in the wilderness. God said they will not enter into the promised land because they had Egypt in their heart. God never wanted them to talk about Egypt, but they wouldn't. All right, you get to chapter number 16 and 17. This time, some Levites challenged Moses and Aaron. Sometimes the one who is your enemy may join you in some battles. This time it's not Moses and Miriam. The Levites are now against the two of them now. Moses and Miriam. What was their problem? It says Moses and Aaron. Maybe we should read this. We call it, chapter 16, we call it the rebellion of Korah and his team. Read for me. Somebody should read what is on the screen for me. And listen very well. Listen. Read for me.
The rebellion of Korah and his team. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together.
They form a team against Moses, right? Look at the team. These are the leaders in verse 1, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And they inspired many other people, and they are going to confront Moses. Verse 3, read for me.
And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord.
Hey, they came to, they said, look, Moses, we are also anointed men.
What is it?
They said, Moses and Aaron, wait a minute. Don't feel like this tabernacle belongs to the two of you. Why are you behaving as though the whole thing belongs to the two of you? They said, Moses and Aaron, you are going too far. Look at the word they said. The whole congregation is holy. Everybody. Everybody is holy, just like you. So don't make this whole thing look like you are the only people anointed. So they form a team. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to remove Moses from leadership. And they will now be the leaders. We have to read the whole chapter. We have to read the whole chapter. So you see what happened, what actually happened. Read for me. Go into your Bible because I don't have all of them quoted here.
All right, sir. Verse 4.
From verse 4.
And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even whom he hath chosen will be caused to come near unto him. This do, take your censers, Korah and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. And Moses said unto Korah, Hear, I pray ye, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the God of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, to stand before the congregation to minister unto them? And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and seek ye the priesthood also? For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is he? And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab.
Wait a minute. So what happened was, after they confronted him, they were ready to take any risk because they thought God is on their side. So they told Moses, look, tomorrow let's everybody take their censer and then put incense inside and bring it before the Lord, and God will select one of us. They were ready to take the challenge. So they did. In other words, they were so sure that God was not behind Moses for what he was doing. They were so sure. And if they take the challenge, God is going to elect one of them or them to be the new leaders. So they were going to take their censers filled with incense before the Lord, and God will choose one, the one that is his own. God must prove this. God must prove this, that he is really not for these guys. And they are the ones supposed to be the leaders. They are ready to take the challenge. Well, Moses had look at the next verse on your screen. Read for me. It's the same thing on the screen. You can continue to read.
Verse 12. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of a land that flows with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Will thou put out the eyes of this man? We will not come up.
We won't come.
It was very wroth.
Wait. Moses sent for these two guys, right? And they said, go and tell Moses, we are not coming anywhere. We won't come. Moses was like, no, I just want to. I said, look, go and tell him we are not coming anywhere. We are not coming. We won't come. And they told the messengers to go and, is it a small, look, Moses, you have done so much evil to us. You brought us out of Egypt. That was the first mistake you made. Who sent you? We were enjoying our Egypt. You came and you brought us up. Besides, you told us a land that flows with milk and honey. You didn't bring us to that land. Can you see it here?
Yes.
Where did they get it from? The 12 spies. Actually, God killed those who were involved in this leadership. They wanted to elect new leaders to take them back to Egypt. God killed all of them. But these two guys were not, they didn't die, but they heard in their heart. They agreed with the 10. So now they are repeating the same thing. They say, well, you didn't bring us to a land that flows with milk and honey. How did they know? The 10 said it, and they heard it. They heard it as well. They said, you just brought us here to kill us in the wilderness. One time they asked Moses, do you think Egypt does not have enough place to bury us, that you brought us here to die and be buried in the wilderness? Besides, you said God will give us our inheritance. You didn't give us any inheritance. And who made you? Just brought us out to just be a lord over us. That was the reason why you came and deceived us, that God sent you to come and deliver us. So you only brought us up so you can be a lord over us. No inheritance has been given to us. We are thinking about vineyard, nothing in that land. Now, you just want to look, go and tell him we are not coming anywhere.
That is it.
We are not coming anywhere. The man of God, continue to read.
Verse 15. And Moses was very wroth and said unto the Lord, respect not thou offering. I have not taken one as from them, neither have I had one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Lord every man his censer, 250 censers. Also, thou also and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them and laid incense thereon and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron.
All right, wait. So now they brought the challenge, and now God confirmed it. God said, all right, if you guys really want to know who is the leader or who I want to use, just like you guys suggested, do it. Moses and Aaron, you to bring your censer filled with incense. So what do you think when God comes, he will do? He will just light up the incense of one of them, right? So that will be the one God has chosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what God did. When he came, what he did.
Verse 19. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment.
He consumed them? I thought he came to choose a leader. I thought he came to choose a leader. He came and he said, look, guys, move aside. Let me jump on these guys. I thought he came to light up an incense for us to see the one God came, he didn't even go close to the censer. No. He said, now, guys, you move this side. Let me consume these guys. Oh, interesting. They were ready for the challenge. Well, let's move on. They got consumed, and God killed all of them as well. Just between this book, between Mount Sinai and the place of Moab, the number of people that died already out of rebellion. Every chapter, a large number of people will die out of rebellion. Well, the nice part is here. Maybe this is where they will change their mind. Let's see verse 20, chapter 20. I narrated this to you in one of the classes, right? This happened in chapter 17, the first one, when God asked Moses to strike the rock, right? This is the second time when God asked Moses to touch the rock, not to strike it, touch it. All right? He's supposed to touch it.
Speak to it.
Right? He's supposed to touch it, not to strike it. Because that signifies the second coming of Christ. And the Bible says Moses got upset. He said, you rebels, must we indeed bring out water from this rock for you? And he struck the rock. Like I told you before, water came out. The result was massive. They drank. Right? Moses said, I told you. I told you. The water flowed. They drank. But God was upset with Moses. Now, what happened? Moses brought down the same fate of the children of Israel upon himself. The rebellion has gone on and on and on and on to Moses himself now. Now Moses has painted himself with the same color of Israel, and he must also die. He must also die. And you know the rest of the story. He died as a result, right? Okay, that's the time. The next chapter, chapter 21, Israel rebelled again. How do we title this book? I think it shouldn't be the book of Numbers. It should be the book of rebellion. What do you think? Like, they are just dying from one stage to the other. Why don't they change their mind? One stage to the other. They are seeing all these things happening. Right? And they wouldn't change their mind. All right, can we read? I quoted something small here for us to get it there. Another rebellion. Read for me.
Chapter 21, verse 1. And when the king Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, had tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And Israel vowed a vow unto the Lord and said, if thou wilt indeed deliver these people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord hearkened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spake against God and against Moses.
Aha, it has started. Go on.
Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. And the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they beat the people, and much of the people of Israel died. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is beaten, when he looketh upon it, shall live. And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived.
All right. So you just heard the story for yourself. What did they do this time?
They complained.
They spoke against Moses and God.
This golden.
They said, we are tired. We want to go back to Egypt. We are tired of this whole thing, this Moses and God. Even this tabernacle, we don't even like it anymore. Ever since the tabernacle came, we are just dying. The camp has become very uncomfortable now. You can't even be yourself. Can't we enjoy life? In Egypt, we used to go to the club. Now that we are born again, they say we can't enjoy our life.
We used to go in for free.
I had a sister in my congregation one time. She came to my room and she said, Pastor, you know something? Do you know why I'm not regular in church? I said, no, please tell me. She said, the church is not hot. I said, what do you mean? She said, the church, you can't dress well, like you can't dress like you want. You can't dress hot. You can't dress sexy, right? And beside that, all the songs are boring, holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. It's boring. But when you go to the club, hey, you could have fun. You could have a nice time. So for her, the church, that's why she's not regular. She comes, even the clothes you wear to come to church is even a problem to her. See, you come and you are sweating because you have to dress like Egyptian mummy in church. You know, when you're going to the club, you just need some rope to tie around your neck. And you pass it here, you tie it at the back, and there you go.
Yeah,
You don't bother yourself and be wearing anything, you know. Hey, I'm like, oh, really? The church is not hot. The church is not hot. Well, and that was a reason for not being regular in church. And she meant it. She meant it. Yeah. Yeah, you just, when you're going to the club, you don't need to wear clothes. You just get a rope. One thin rope like that. You just make it cross around your chest, one like this, the other one like this. And then you go. Who has a question? Tell us. Ask your question. Ask your question. Let me answer before I complete this.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for the opportunity. I want to ask, Like, who created sin for the first place? And second, who is Lord over sin? Like, who am I going to just okay? Yes, who created sin? And another thing, is it sin that is behind the rebellion of the children of Israel, or is it the devil that is behind, or the devil is controlling or doing anything that is making them to rebel? I said, it's really this story is really, it's just like a whole generation drama and all, just serious.
No, you think this is bad enough? No, do you feel this is bad enough? You haven't seen anything. This is not it. This is not it. This is not bad enough. Actually, this is the nice part of the whole thing. If you think the book of Numbers is rebellious enough, this is not it. It's not good enough. By the time you get to the book of Judges, you get to the book of Joshua, Judges, you enter into Samuel. Oh, by then the heart of man is fully darkened now. You haven't seen anything. Look, leave that question and let's move on. You haven't seen anything yet. Interestingly, I won't get into those books with you. So as you read them, at least these books will serve as a good foundation for you to study the rest of the Bible. All right. Yeah. And you think Israel is very rebellious? What about the New Testament? There are people who are more rebellious than these people today. I tell you. Yeah. Even with this class, God spoke to some people specifically concerning this class. Are they here? No. Is there any rebellion worse than this? No, I'm not the one who spoke to them. They told me that God spoke to them. They said it. I'm not the one who spoke to them. They told me that God spoke to them that they should be regular, and with this class, He's going to change. They were like, "Oh, Lord Jesus, thank you. Hey, thank you, Lord Jesus." Are they here? No. I asked them yesterday, were you in? They said, "You know, Pastor, no, I couldn't move it. I couldn't make it. And I was supposed to be." And I said, "Okay. After all, you said God spoke to you. And you are going to give reports as to how the class was for you." Right? So the rebellion is not peculiar to Israel, my sister. Yeah. Maybe you who is asking this question, only God knows your own level of rebellion. Everybody has their own, you know. Very stubborn. I said it's a problem with man's heart. Man's heart is corrupt, full of evil, only think evil. Oh, dear Lord. I'm thinking about some other stories that would have just blown you away. If you think this is rebellion enough, I'm just thinking about some of the stories that would just carry you away. You haven't seen anything yet. This is the green, the fresh part of the whole story. Now, don't you think by now God is regretting He should have just continued to deal with all of them instead of choosing Abraham alone? Because the whole thing seems not working at all.
Now the same.
Yeah. Yes, men need the altar of horns. We have to be tied around that horns. Now God is like, should I have choose Cain instead of Abraham, or which one is better right now? Let's just imagine.
If Cain didn't kill Abel, maybe.
He said I shouldn't have made any promise to Abraham. I should have just consumed everybody by now and just leave them. I will not create any other person. Destroy the whole planet, remove it, and I'll just be on my own. But now I have tied myself. I made promise to Abraham already, which is also not fulfilled. So now I can. This Moses will not allow me to consume them. You see. So now God is really in a state of, he just don't know what to do right now. He really don't know what to do right now. And they continue to rebel. Well, let me complete so I show you more rebellion. You will love it. This is not all. This is just chapter 21. We haven't gone anywhere yet. So relax. So they spoke against God. But well, let me show you something interesting here. So God sent down serpents to bite them for complaining against Moses and himself. But many people died already complaining against Moses. Several people.
Before salvation
From the
came.
previous chapter, we just saw some guys died, right? These guys. A lot of them. Right? Now the next chapter, Moses messed up the whole thing again. Followed by the next one, they complain against God. And he sent a serpent to bite them. Well, Moses interceded for them again. Moses was the best intercessor until Christ. And God said, well, make a bronze serpent. Why bronze here? Judgment, right? Judgment.
Yes, sir.
So the bronze is going to be, the snake is going to be judged in place of their complaints. So make a bronze serpent and then raise it up, mount it up. Anybody beaten by the snake, if only the person will lift up his eyes and look at the bronze serpent on the pole, he is gonna live. He won't die. Do you know this is the symbol of medicine? You know? Yeah, this is the symbol of medicine, right? In our hospitals, pharmacies, yeah, that's a symbol of medicine. I wonder why this symbol though. But yeah, that's the symbol. All right. So when Christ came, he made reference to this story in the wilderness. Can you see it? That's the verse below it. Jesus said, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Right? That whosoever believe in him may have eternal life. So all these things God was doing among them, he was actually showing them, he was actually preparing them for Christ. But when Christ came, they miss it. They deny him. Well, let's move on. A very strange symbol, of course. What is the lesson we get from this? God is right to bring judgment upon Israel's sin and evil. But at the same time, as he punished them, those who will look out to him, those who will look up to him for help, for salvation, right? Those who will cry out to him that we have sinned, those who will seek repentance, right? God will transform his judgment into a source of salvation for them, right? That is what God is doing here, even though they have sinned. But now that they cried out to Moses and they said, we have sinned, God will always provide a source of help for them. Now we get to the famous story of the Bible, another rebellion here. This one is a very interesting part. Let's see if we can dissolve this, then we close. We have our last class tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Chapter 22 to chapter 25 happens in the plains of Moab. In the place of Moab. Get a book design. Can you see it? So we are here. So this rebellion mostly happened on the way when they are journeying. And they will be talking, we are hungry, we are thirsty. We don't want you, Moses. We hate you. So what happens here is the king of Moab, what's the name? Balak, saw that Israel was coming. And then he got a news that they were mighty army. Ever since they moved out of Egypt, nobody was able to defeat them. They had manna falling for them. They are just wonderful people. God's hand is mightily upon them. So he consulted his magicians and he said, what do we do to defeat these people? Because they are coming close to us. They are moving towards the plains of Moab. So what do we do to defeat Israel? And the magician said, if only you can get a prophet. The magician said, you know something? Oh, king, live forever. These people you are talking about, they are blessed. So the only way somebody can defeat them is they should be cursed. If only you can get a prophet to curse them, that is the only way they can be defeated. And Balak said, really? And the magician said, yes, O king, live forever. So he heard of a prophet, and the prophet was called Balaam. So he went to hire this prophet. And God spoke to the prophet Balaam not to go, but he went anyways when he was deceived with money. Right? There's a question here, but why must be prophet? Your question is, why must it be a prophet to curse them, right? Is that a question? Why must it be a prophet to curse them? Yes, a prophet can curse them. A prophet can curse them. You just have to speak evil words against them. But that was not how Israel should be cursed. Israel, for them themselves, they are cursed already. They curse. Nobody can curse them. They have a way of dealing with themselves already. So they don't really need, the king just didn't know that they don't need prophets to curse them. They are their own devil walking towards him. Right? Yeah. It's a principle we are being shown here. Many of us, if only we would know that we are blessed. All right, pay attention to something. Where are the people leaving the class? Where are they living? From 30, is it 39, all the way to 26? Why? This is the rebellion we are talking about. So if you think Israel is rebellion, this is another set. Maybe God should narrate the class to you from day one. How everybody came and said, Pastor Naya, we are in. The class is wow. It's just full of blessings. Now is one day to the last day. Is now 26. Even out of these 26, many are not listening. It is well. It is well. So don't look at Israel alone, right? The rebellion continues even till today. Now let me continue to narrate my story here. So he went to hire the prophets to come and pronounce curses upon them. So Israel is moving towards Moab, right? Israel is moving towards Moab. And what happened was the prophets and the king, they took offering. This is one aspect many of God's people don't understand, the use of offering. Is the highest tool we have in the kingdom, but many Christians don't know how to use it. The use of offering. So he took offering and they went to a mountain. They positioned themselves well at where they can see the people, the children of Israel. Is Israel aware that there were some people on top of the mountain on their matter? No, they were not aware. So they went to position themselves at position 1. And they made a sacrifice. After which the prophet was supposed to pronounce words of curses. When he started, he realized that he was rather pronouncing blessings. So the king was like, no, stop. I hire you to come and curse them, not to bless them. He said, sorry, sir, king, may you live forever. Maybe it's because of where we are standing, so we are not seeing them well. Let's move to another place. So they moved to a better place where they can see them well. They offered another sacrifice. And the prophet was supposed to pronounce curses upon them. He tried the second time. He just realized that he rather end up speaking blessing upon them. And the king was getting upset. I said, oh, king, please, may you live forever. I think a better place would do. They went to the third place. And this time, as he tried to pronounce curses upon him, upon Israel, God now showed him a vision of a king that will come from among them and save the nation. Let me show you the words of the king to him this time. when the king heard this time, look at the last verse. Look at the last verse, verse 25. And Balak said unto Balaam, don't curse them, don't also bless them, because this is on 3 occasions you have blessed them. The people were blessed already. Now on 3 occasions, after sacrifice, you have blessed them. So you are making things worse for me. Now I want to read those things to you. Oh, dear Lord Jesus. I wish God's people will catch this. Now let me read one occasion to you. Listen to the words of blessing here. And he said unto Balak, stand here by the burnt offering while I meet the Lord yonder. Like, let me move further, right? And the Lord met Balaam and put a word in his mouth and said, go again unto Balak and said unto him. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by the burnt offering. And the princes, they came with some princes, right, of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, what had the Lord spoken? Verse 8. And he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear, hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. God is not a man. This is a word of assurance to Christians. God is not a man that he should lie. Neither is the Son of Man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not made it good? Verse 20, behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reverse it. The prophet is saying, Israel is blessed, and no man can reverse it. When were they blessed? In Abraham. Verse 21, he had not beheld iniquity from Jacob, neither had he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord, his God, is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. Did you see that? The shout of a king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt and had as it were the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob. There is no enchantment against Pastor Naya. I don't know about you, but me, there is no enchantment against me. Neither is there any divination against Pastor Naya. I don't know about you, but me, there is no divination against. They say, Pastor, they are saying all manner of things against me. Well, there is no enchantment against me. Right? There is none. No enchantment against me. Look at the word there. According to this time, it shall be said of Pastor Naya. Look at what the Lord has done. Behold, the people shall rise. Pastor Naya shall rise.
I shall rise.
As a great lion, I will rise and lift up myself. As a young lion.
I will not lie down.
No. What will I do? Until I eat my prey and drink blood. And Balak said, please, Balaam, stop this nonsense. End it there.
Can't even bless them.
Please, let's stop this joke. I hire you to come and curse the people. Now you are blessing them. Let's end it there. But this should be your confession. Look at the verse. You can write it down. Confess these words to yourself. All right? There is no iniquity found in Pastor Naya. No iniquity. There is no iniquity found in me. Neither is there any perverseness in me. No perverseness. Someone said, so where are you getting all this? Didn't you read from the Bible? The Bible said what? Jesus has presented us blameless before the Father. Blameless.
The year of perfection.
I am blameless. And beside everything is my year of perfection. I'm perfected. He didn't say work hard and I'll perfect you. It's the year of perfection. I am perfected. Right?
Yes, sir.
So those are my words. There is no enchantment against me. Right?
Neither any witchcraft.
No witchcraft. Someone said, Pastor, I couldn't sleep yesterday night. Witches were gathered. There is no divination against you. Right? He said, behold, the people, members of TORAH class. That is what he's talking about here. Members of TORAH class shall rise. Members of TORAH class shall rise as a lion, as a great lion. Leaders, new leaders being born.
Yes, sir.
Right? People of God, let me tell you something. Maybe let me use the remaining 2 minutes to talk to you. If you are a Christian, it is not a life of war. There is no war in Christianity. There is no war in this. It's a call to rest.
Yes, sir.
It's a call to rest. If only you will live the life that he called you to live, you will not struggle for anything. What do you need in life? What do you want? You know, there was one time I was getting concerned because it looks like all the money that I get, the money wouldn't reach me before somebody will call for it. Somebody's in need. So there was a time when I checked, WeChat sent me a message of how much I got that particular week. And when I check my balance, it's 0. So I'm like, what? Where are all these? Where are they? And me, myself, I can't recall anything I bought or anything I used the money for. So I'm like, where is it? Then Satan began to talk. You know, that those are the nice moments Satan comes in. Because yes, I told you, your future is at stake. This is the time you should be saving money. You should be saving money towards your marriage, towards your children. You should be having, you know, starting business and starting all the. And I was also agreeing. I was saying, yeah, this is true. This is true. You know, very soon you are old. You have to marry soon. Yes, it's true. I have to start saving. Yeah. Rebellion has started, right? Down there. And God was up there. He was just like this, looking at me. And I was agreeing with Satan. We were just having nice time, right? Just conversation with the devil. We were just talking to each other. Hey. And I'm like, yeah, I have to start saving money. All these people needing help. I don't even know them. They don't even know me. One day they may even betray me. And hey, I was just I was just jumping inside. So I went to lie on my bed. I'm just like, certain amount passed through my WeChat this year.
And the angels are looking at you.
Where's the money? You know, why you are thinking like that, it won't take long before somebody will send message again, Pastor Naya, can I get 50 kwai? So I was just there, you know, just feeling so bad and sorry for myself. Then the word of the Lord came to me. Then God said, don't be afraid to help the poor. I said, don't be afraid to help the poor. I said, yeah, but we also need to save money. And then he said, the things I've blessed you with, did you get them with your savings? I said, no, sir. He said, when you need it, I will provide it. Don't be afraid to help people when they are in need. Well, I'm not saying everybody should send me what they need, because God said I shouldn't be afraid to help. Someone said, thank God, thank you, Lord Jesus. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Let me just, right after this class, I'm going to put my list before him. You know, my need. I won't mind you.
Don't be afraid to have the poor.
Yes. Okay, someone is coming with a list.
The poor.
A list is welcome. Right? So, what am I trying to say? We are blessed and we cannot be cursed. All right. Let's stick to what we are supposed to do. Let me show you the last PPT and we close. Look at what is happening here. Here is Israel. Well, from this PPT, you couldn't see them well. They are somewhere down here. What are they doing there? Blessing Moses.
Nah, Mama.
What are they doing down here? They should be walking around somewhere here.
Complaining.
Along the plains here. And here is a prophet up here to curse them, right? To curse them. Are they aware there is somebody up there cursing them? No. What are they doing down there? That's what I'm interested. What are they doing there?
They are planning their next.
They are planning their next evil plan. Here they are down there insulting Moses, rebelling, and God is also up there pronouncing blessings upon them. Look, you are so blessed that you cannot be cursed. Israel is down there misbehaving, and God is also up there blessing them. I always tell myself, look, if these people who are not born again, God could do such a thing for them, how much more me, who is born again? We don't belong to the same class, right? I'm far better off. So now the rest of the book, from the prophets and those who wrote the Psalms, the Proverbs, they all pick up this. The whole book has to do with what? The contrast between Israel's rebellion against God's faithfulness. I told you even from day one that is what we will see in the book. Israel here could also mean humans in all, right? Humans in all. Humans' rebellion against God's faithfulness. So what we see is, hey, we don't see wine. What we see is God, as Israel continued to rebel. Actually, this is, by this time, the book of Numbers, rebellion is really running rampage, going up one step of rebellion after the other. But God also kept bringing partial judgment, right? Partial judgment upon them. And he also kept showing them mercy by providing food, protection, water, and he kept blessing them despite their rebellion. You get it? Is that not the same thing for most of us? Despite our rebellion, God remains faithful, isn't it? And he kept bringing blessings upon us, right? Despite our rebellion. Any question? Any question? Let me answer your questions and we close. Time is up. There is no enchantment against Pastor Naya. Maybe today when you want to sleep, help confess for me, okay? Say it 11 times before you sleep. Say there is no enchantment against Pastor Naya. There is no definition against him, right? If you forgot your own name, put my name there and make the confession for me, all right? People of God, say this till it has entered your blood. Your bloodstream is flowing. There is no enchantment. Oh, they said, people are planning things. Nobody can plan anything. I'm a free man. I walk freely in this world. I walk freely. I'm a free man. No enchantment against me. No definition against me. You can read that verse to yourself over and over and over and over. Put your name there Wherever you see Jacob or Israel, put your name there. Rewrite that scripture and put your name in there, right? If you miss one level of blessing, a greater one will come. A greater one will come. As Israel, as Israel increased in rebellion, Naya will increase in blessing. All right. Simultaneously, I increase in blessing. There is no enchantment against me, right? So they say, oh, they gave an offer, and maybe whatever it was given to another person. There is no enchantment against me. There is no divination against me. Yeah. There is no divination against me. Yeah, why sin abounds, right? Grace much more abound. Grace much more. This is my confidence. Yeah, don't worry about anything in life. How much can you take from me? How much can you take from me?
I'm loaded.
They said they seized everything from him. They just left him alone. Thank God they left you alone. You reproduce those things because the things are inside you. No, were you born with something? Your mother gave birth to you. The moment you came, you were holding your fridge and other things. They were all after. You were born with them. You said, please help me arrange them here. No, you came alone. But everything you need, you produce, they are inside you. At the right time, they kept coming. They will keep coming out, right? They keep coming out. Don't envy anybody. It's a curse to envy another man. It's a curse. Don't envy anybody. There is enough resources in the world for everybody to have enough. Trust me. Trust me. There is enough resources in the world for everybody to have enough. Maybe you just start the process and the whole thing is just getting difficult. People are just, hey, there is no enchantment against me. He has spoken. He will do it. He has blessed and no man can reverse it. You see, he has blessed and no man can reverse it. The word has been given and so shall it be.
Sir, God is not a man.
So, truth announced. We don't go for, we are free men. We don't fight the devil. We allow him to live his life while we live our life. We don't fight the devil, not because we are afraid of him. We don't fight him because he has his job. We have our job. He lives in his home. We live in our home.
He has his own story.
Okay, let me see a question here. Grace, what have you done? Is it the scripture?
That for me.
Okay, the person is singing hymn. So I can see everybody's eyes fixed, reading the hymn, right? Any question? Let me answer your questions and we check out here. If not, prepare for the last class tomorrow. We look at Deuteronomy. And then, hey, we are supposed to study the 7 festivals, right? Hey.
My watch, according to my watch, is still 9:30.
Well, you watch.